It's the worst thing you can do for yourself. So if you find yourself rolling out of bed All right, so if you're somebody that struggles with, as soon as you get up, you feel anxious, like the first thoughts are anxious thoughts, your body feels like you're in a fight or flight state, like you're looking for the lion that's chasing you, your mind is looking for the thing that you're stressed about, well, first of all, you're not alone, because it happens to all of us. It happens to me. I go through stages and seasons of my life where I'm waking up like that, and it's usually when I have something that's troubling me. I'll wake up sort of in that response, but there are a couple things that you can do to help disrupt this pattern and change it. But before we go into that, I want to give you an explanation as to why this is happening. And I'm going to give you both like the scientific and the psychological explanation, and then I'm going to give you the sort of spiritual explanation, because of course I'm all about bridging science and spirituality, the left side of the brain, the right side of the brain. So I'm going to give you an understanding of why this is happening on both of those spectrums, and then give you 3 ways that you can sort of switch this pattern. So like I said, you're waking up feeling good as opposed to waking up feeling anxious. So the first explanation on the scientific sort of psychological side is you can look at Pavlov's dogs. So if you don't know, Pavlov's dogs is a scientific experiment where they proved that dogs can be trained to salivate just by the clicking of a bell and then them getting a treat or food. I could be wrong on the specifics of how they did that, but I think most people know what Pavlov's dogs is. If you don't know it, just go Google it. But basically, So anyway, if you don't know what Pavlov's dogs is, you can Google it and look it up. It explains that we are habitual beings. So our brain is always going to look out for patterns. It's always going to want things to stay the same because it's how we evolve. It's part of the brain that allows for evolution. So it's always wanting the same. It's why it feels so uncomfortable to go outside your comfort zone, because that's how our brains work. It wants the same. It wants to know patterns so that it can look out for any threats to those patterns so that it can continue living. So our brains pretty much work the same exact way. They're like hardware and software, but the thing is you can change that software. So if you know how to reprogram, rewire your brain, it's actually pretty easy. There's a couple different ways you can do it: through hypnosis, through repetition, through meditation. All these ways are ways that you can sort of rewire your brain so that you aren't just continuously doing the same things over and over and over. This is the path of personal and spiritual growth. And so because of this Pavlov's dog's way of being that our brains are, you're going to wake up every morning because you're in the habit of it. You're in the continuous program of pretty much leaving the brain where you left it the day before. So unless you're consciously aware of this habitual habit for you, you're just going to keep doing it and you're going to be unconscious to it. Okay. So our brains work like machines, like computer programs. And so it's really simple on the psychological sort of scientific side to understand your brain works like a machine. It's going to always look for the same things and focus on the same things. So if you're in the habit, you're sort of stuck in that loop, your brain's being Pavlov's dog. It's just waking up doing the same exact thing that it did yesterday. It's not wrong. It's not bad. It's just programmed to a certain radio station is all. The good news is that you don't have to stay on that radio station. Like I said, you can rewire your brain. Now, for the sort of more esoteric, metaphysical, spiritual explanation, I'm going to use one of my favorite spiritual teachers, Abraham Hicks. And something that she says, and it's always stuck with me and it's so true, but she said, the energy is last where you left it in any given circumstance or situation. In other words, if your energy at the end of every night and the beginning of every morning is where you last left it, and it's been stuck on this cycle of waking up with anxiety or anxiousness, the energy of where you're at is going to stay the same until you consciously change it. So if your energy is left there every single day, and then you're reiterating that and re-imprinting that every day, going, oh my gosh, I wake up every day with anxiety. Oh my gosh, I wake up every day with anxiety. Oh my gosh, I wake up every day with anxiety. And you're not doing anything different, it's gonna go on default mode, the default mode network. It's gonna look for that. It's gonna be stuck on that loop, on that radio station. So with that being said, the first thing, obviously, from all of that is that you have to understand that and be conscious and aware of that, oh, I'm waking up like this because that's where I last left my energy, was in that state, and because my brain's like Pavlov's dogs, it's gonna keep doing the same thing. So I have to be conscious and aware of that enough to go, I can change that. And then you're gonna have to start a new story. You're gonna have to start a new imprinting in your brain of how you do wanna wake up in the morning. That has to be the first step. The first step is always gonna be awareness in anything that you're wanting to transform, transcend, ascend, change in your life. The first step is always gonna be awareness. You cannot change, transform, ascend, transcend something if you aren't aware that it's there. And so first step is awareness. Okay, I'm stuck in this loop. You have to have enough observation of the situation to go, I'm stuck in this loop and I'm stuck on this radio station, but I have the capability and ability to change that radio station. So with that said, now that you sort of understand, it's really pretty simple why this is happening. Now I'm gonna give you 3 ways that you can change this programming, that you can get off this radio station and get on a radio station that is going to be better for you, because how you start your day is how your day is going to go for the rest of the day. If you wake up with tons of anxiety and stress in the morning, chances are the rest of your day is going to be like that, and you're going to be on defense as opposed to offense. You're going to be in reaction mode. So everything that happens, you're going to feel sort of like a victim. You're going to be reacting, and you're not going to be in that sort of calm, balanced, core inner space where you feel like you can just surf the wave of the day with joy and peace and balance. And that's what you want. So that's what you want to wake up with. Now, again, I have seasons where this happens more, where maybe I'm a little bit stressed about something that's going on with my life. So it's nothing to beat yourself up over. Shame does not equal change or transformation ever. So it's no reason to get mad at yourself if you're sort of stuck in one of these seasons, even though you may know all of this, but you sort of may be stuck in that season. That's fine. This is just a reminder for you, as it is for me all the time. So 3 things that you can do to change this habit, to change the season that you may be going through. The first one's really simple. Put a Post-it note near your bed to where you'll see it pretty much right away when you open your eyes, okay? So because we live in a 5th wheel, above my bed, the ceiling's right there above my head because of the way our bed is in our 5th wheel. And so I have a Post-it note right up above that says, I am a being of God. I am light. That's what it says. I'm a being of God. I am light. So that when I wake up and open my eyes, that's what I see, like as a first reminder before all my thoughts can go into all the things that I need to do that day, all the things that I was thinking about the night before, like before all of that crap takes over, I have that first reminder right away that I can anchor into my psyche and anchor into my being. Because I know if I'm a being of God and that I am light and I am open to receive, then that's the tone that I'm setting for the rest of the day. It's like, oh, okay, I remember. I instead of waking up forgetting who I really am, or forgetting the balance, the peace, the joy that I am just a soul having a human experience, and forgetting all that, I can remind myself first thing at the beginning of the day. So put a Post-it note somewhere where you can see it right when you wake up, and put some kind of a positive affirmation. Now, affirmations can get a bad rap because if you're just trying to do those to change, of course, it's not going to work. But if you're doing other things along with affirmations, they work because it's the repetition. As I talked about, one of the ways to rewire your brain and rewire your thinking is repetition. And so affirmations work for repetition, but you have to do the deep inner work alongside of them. You can't do just the affirmations. So positive affirmation on a Post-it note, put it where you can see it first thing in the morning. That's the first thing that you can do. The second thing is listening to something positive right when you get up or a little bit after you get up. So I have Post-it notes all over, and I have a Post-it note on my coffee so that when I go on my coffee brewer, so that when I go to make my coffee, it says turn on Abraham. Because you can forget. Even though I have that reminder there, you can forget because I get wrapped up in my thoughts and the things I have to do. So I put a Post-it note on the coffee that says turn on Abraham Hicks. And Abraham Hicks, I have one, it's downloaded so my phone can continue to stay on airplane mode, which I'll talk about in the next tip. I have it downloaded onto my device and it's called Morning Rampage. It's the Abraham Hicks Morning Rampage. And it's just like a 10-minute thing of really positive affirmations, basically, with some really good music. And so if I turn that on when I'm making coffee, I don't even think about it. That is what's getting implanted into my brain for that day. So on top of the Post-it note, I'm now hearing something out loud. So I'm seeing, then I'm hearing, I'm embodying that, I'm embracing that as that reminder for the day. I mean, I have spiritual practices and rituals that I do every single day, and I still need these Post-it notes, and I'm okay with that. So listening to Abraham Hicks, or whatever makes you feel good. It doesn't have to be what I say or do. Just find something that you can turn on. Even if it's a song that makes you feel really good, play that song. Do it when you're doing coffee every single day. Number 3, and this is the biggest one that's changed my whole morning for me. And that is I turn my phone on airplane mode the night before, and I don't turn it off airplane mode until usually about an hour or 2 after I get up in the morning. The reason why is because I spend about an hour, sometimes 2, not always, doing my own practices. And so if I, like before, I would get up, if I didn't have my phone on airplane mode, I would inevitably always check my notifications like right away first thing in the morning. It's the worst thing you can do for yourself. So if you find yourself rolling out of bed and checking your phone right away, remember my voice, remember these words. It's the worst thing that you can do for yourself if you want to have a day full of balance, inner peace, to be on offense as opposed to defense. If you want to move through your day with grace and ease, you do not want to be checking your phone first thing in the morning, because all it's going to do is activate that default mode network and tell you all of the things that you need to do, all the things that you're stressed about. It's going to keep you stuck in that loop that you're trying to get yourself out of. Turn your plane on airplane mode before you go to bed. Do not turn it off of airplane mode until you do some kind of practice in the morning. And maybe that's 5 minutes of just some deep breathing. Maybe that's your practice, and that's totally fine. Even if it's 5 minutes, you can find 5 minutes to do this, to just get yourself balanced and centered and focused and coming from a place of your deeper awareness, not your everyday human identity awareness, your deeper awareness. I will say who you really are underneath that ego identity default mode network. If you spend 5 minutes, I recommend doing more than 5 minutes. I recommend doing an hour if you can, in whatever way that looks like for you. If you can't, maybe even 20 minutes. Another thing that you can do, set your alarm for 5 minutes and just literally do some deep breathing, paying attention and focusing on your breath. So if you take a big deep inhale from deep within your belly, deep within your diaphragm, not your shoulders, and then you slowly extend your exhale as slow as you can, and you just keep doing that literally for 5 minutes. Oh my Lord, I am telling you, it's like taking a Xanax. Like, you will feel your body and your mind so relaxed and so calm, and then you are going throughout your day from that place, from your core, from your center, from your power, from your focus. You're moving through the day from that very balanced place, from a very peaceful place. So that doesn't mean that you're on a high all day long. It doesn't mean that either. It means that you're learning to ride the wave of the day, so that if things do come up, you don't get sent into a panic. You're able to move through that while maintaining that inner peace, while maintaining that inner balance as you're moving through the day, so that you can move through anything that comes up from that state. If you can do these things, do them repeatedly, at least for 2 weeks. Watch how everything changes when you wake up in the morning. You will wake up, just like Pavlov's dogs now, excited. You'll actually wake up excited. Like, I get up excited to do my meditation because it feels so good to do my meditation, because I feel so good after, because I can come from that place of inner peace and stability if I'm doing that meditation. So most of the time now, I wake up excited. I wake up feeling so good. Again, this can change in different seasons, but for the most part, I wake up with that sensation as opposed to waking up with full-blown anxiety. Just those 3 things, if you can do that, and actually I'm going to throw in a 4th one as a bonus, and this one's really important too. If you go to bed, I don't know, however you go to bed, but you find yourself waking up with these anxious thoughts, listen to something positive before you go to sleep, like right before you go to sleep, because right when you go to sleep and right when you wake up, you have the most access to your subconscious mind. That is when those doors are wide open. So be very mindful of what you're listening to or doing before you go to bed and right when you wake up. Obviously, that's why I say keep your phone on airplane mode and don't turn it off for the first hour, 30 minutes after you wake up. If you go to sleep and you're already programming your subconscious mind when you go to sleep with something that feels really good or that makes you feel peaceful or relaxed, this is going to be huge too. There's all different things on YouTube that you can look up. There's like 5-minute nighttime affirmations that you can listen to, even some peaceful music. You don't even have to have affirmation, just some peaceful music, some different kinds of breath work. I have a breathwork track that you can play right before you go to sleep, and it just helps you get into sort of that really relaxed state so that you doze off in a really good place. You're gonna more likely wake up like that, in that really good place, than if you did something different before you went to sleep. So that's a fourth one. So like I said, if you practice these things consistently, I promise you, it will work. You don't need prescription pills. You don't need any of that. You have your own internal pharmacy and can create all of that within you. It just takes some consistency, and you have to be able to stick with that. So it does take some discipline to do these things, and the default mode network is gonna wanna go back to the same, especially the first couple days. It's gonna push hard against you. But if you hold on to that, I know I can do this, I know I can make it through it, and just stick to this for, like I said, at least 2 weeks, oh my gosh, you will notice a fundamental difference. And like I said, you'll start to wake up feeling really, really, really good. And imagine if you woke up feeling good, how your day is gonna go, as opposed to if you're waking up with anxiety, you're on defense already, you're already in a fight or flight. It's gonna be a lot more difficult to change that throughout the day. So hopefully those helped. Let me know in the comments if they were helpful. Do you do any of these things? Do you have any other practices so that you don't wake up with anxiety? Let me know in the comments. Like I said, engage with us. We want to hear from you. If you have any ideas of things that would be helpful for you to become a happier, healthier, whole and healed individual, human being, then let us know in the comments. We'd be happy to create some content and videos around that. I will see you next time. I love you all.